If you still believe that love always comes at the right time, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stories like this remind us that hope sometimes arrives wearing grease-stained gloves. The first time I saw Emily crying, she was sitting alone on the curb outside a grocery store, staring at a flat tire as if it had ruined more than just her afternoon. She wasn't crying because of the tire. She had just walked away from a 7-year relationship. "I wasted my 20s, she whispered when I offered to help. He proposed, to someone else. I changed her tire in silence. Some pain doesn't need advice." Over the next few months, we became close friends. Coffee after work. Weekend hikes. Late-night conversations about life. Everyone assumed we were dating. We weren't. Emily was beautiful, funny, and unbelievably kind, but every time I thought about asking her out, fear stopped me. What if I ruin the friendship? So instead, I became the supportive friend. One rainy evening, while walking her to her apartment, she sighed. "Do you think I'll ever find the right man?" My heart screamed, "Tell her it's you." Instead, I forced a smile. "You'll find the right man someday." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she smiled sadly. "I hope so." Months passed. Emily slowly rebuilt her life. She started volunteering at an animal shelter, adopted an old golden retriever named Max, and laughed more often. Meanwhile, I buried myself in work. Every time I wanted to confess my feelings, I convinced myself I was too late. Then one Saturday morning she called. "My car won't start." "I'll come." When I reached her driveway, another truck was already parked there. A tall mechanic was leaning over the engine. He looked confident. Strong. Comfortable around her. Emily waved happily. For some reason, jealousy hit me like a punch. After the mechanic finally got the engine running, Emily walked over. I tried to smile. "I guess," I said quietly, "you'll finally find the right man someday." She laughed. Not loudly. Not mockingly. Just warmly. Then she looked directly into my eyes. "I think he's fixing my car." For one impossible second, I thought she meant the mechanic. My chest tightened. But then, she walked past him. Stopped in front of me. And whispered, I wasn't talking about him. Before I could answer, the mechanic grinned. "Dude," he said. "You might want to stop overthinking before you lose the girl." I stood frozen. Because suddenly nothing made sense. And Emily was waiting for my answer. Part 2, the man she had been waiting for. "Don't understand," I admitted. Emily laughed through nervous tears. "You really don't, do you?" She folded her arms. "For almost a year, I've been waiting." "Waiting? For you." I blinked. "But," I thought. "You thought I only wanted friendship?" I nodded. She smiled. "I asked if I'd ever find the right man because I wanted to know if you believed you could be him." The words hit me harder than any heartbreak ever had. I was terrified, I whispered. So was I. The mechanic closed his toolbox. "You two owe me lunch," he joked. "I've listened to this woman talk about you for months." Emily covered her face, laughing. "Oh no." He shrugged. "Every oil change, every tire rotation, same story. He's sweet. He's thoughtful. Why won't he make a move?" I couldn't believe it. All this time. The love I'd been searching for had been standing beside me. I reached for her hand. "I'm sorry." She squeezed my fingers. "For what?" "For telling you you'd find the right man someday, instead of asking if I could be him." A tear rolled down her cheek. "You still can." I took a deep breath. "Emily. I love you." I've loved you since the day I changed that tire. Her eyes filled with tears. I've loved you since the day you stayed with me until I stopped crying. Without another word, she wrapped her arms around me. The mechanic quietly climbed into his truck and drove away with a satisfied smile, leaving us alone in the driveway. A year later, we stood in that same driveway surrounded by family and friends for a backyard engagement celebration. Emily's parents hugged me like the son they never had. Even her grandmother laughed. So, she teased, the right man was fixing the car after all? Emily grinned. No. She looked at me with the same smile that had changed my life. He fixed much more than that. When our wedding day finally arrived, I remembered the words I'd once spoken out of fear. You'll find the right man someday. I had been wrong. She hadn't needed to find him. She had been patiently waiting for him to find the courage to stop hiding behind friendship and finally say what his heart had known from the beginning. Sometimes love doesn't arrive late. Sometimes it waits quietly, until fear steps aside and honesty takes the wheel. And as we drove away together in the very car that had once refused to start, I realized the greatest journeys often begin only after we stop being afraid to tell the truth.